The goal of every NBA team is to one day win an NBA championship and cement their legacy in NBA history. But that's not something that just happens overnight. In most cases, it takes years of building up through the NBA draft and making the right trades year after year. And these 5 teams have done that. They've built their team from the ground up, and it's either paying off now or it's about to pretty soon. And it looks like it's going to leave them with a title contending team for years to come. So let's take a look at these 5. The list is in order this time, starting with number 5, the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves have 2 young players with 2 of the brightest futures in all of the NBA. It's weird to say that about a team with the league's 6th best record, but it's definitely true. They hurt their case a little bit when they leaned toward a win-now attitude and traded away Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn, but hey, they got Jimmy Butler, and the plans now are working. And Jimmy's only 28, so it was still a great trade that's going to be good for a lot of years to come. Towns and Wiggins are only 22, so they're still years off from their prime, but they're playing great. The only thing that can hurt the Timberwolves' future is if somebody leaves as a free agent to try to get more money, which we all know is always possible. But if not, there's a possibility we could be seeing the Minnesota Timberwolves as NBA champions within the next 5 years. And as far as draft picks go, the Wolves are going to have 2 first-round picks in the upcoming draft between the 15th and the 30th picks, their own and one from OKC. Number 4, the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks are stacked with young stars right now. They got the reigning Rookie of the Year Malcolm Brogdon, who's a great solid point guard. He's only 25, and so far he's shown that he's a great all-around player. They got Chris Middleton, who's only 26 and has also been a great all-around player and gets better every single year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the All-Star game in a year or 2 either. Then there's Jabari Parker, who we're hoping doesn't have a career that turns out like Derrick Rose with all these knee problems. But assuming he comes back and stays injury-free, he's another future All-Star and someone who can be a dominant player that's only 22 years old right now. And of course there's Thon Maker, who Kevin Garnett called a future league MVP. No real signs of it since being in the NBA, but his potential's there. And of course Giannis and Bledsoe, who've already solidified themselves as great players and need no introduction. So they have 5 solid players who have huge potential going forward, and the only thing I really see them lacking right now is a solid 6th man and some big time shooters. Brogdon and Middleton have been great from the 3, but I feel they need a little bit more than that. Their position in the draft is that they owe their 1st and 2nd round picks this year to Phoenix from the Bledsoe trade. But with all the conditions and protections on them, it looks like they're not going to lose out on them till 2020. Number 3, the Philadelphia 76ers. After seeing all these super teams trade and sign for all-star players, it's great to see these young teams build up through the draft with young players, even if they tank for them. Philly was forced to wait for Dario Saric to finish up overseas for a couple years, and the wait's paying off. Saric looks like he's going to turn out to be a pretty good power forward, and he's only 23. And we've already seen flashes of dominance from the 2 players that look like they'll be the future of the NBA within the next few years, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. And of course we've seen Markelle Fultz under the 76ers rookie injury curse. I mean, it's a requirement to get hurt in your rookie season in Philly. It's like an initiation. But hey, if he gets healthy and runs point guard even somewhat like he did in college, then the 76ers big 3 will be something to be reckoned with. In terms of the draft, it looks like they're done with the tanking and their draft luck's running out. Everyone remembers when the 76ers traded the reigning Rookie of the Year, Michael Carter-Williams, for a 1st round draft pick. I'll still never get that, especially now, seeing that unless the pick is 1st overall or picks 6 through 30, then the pick goes to Boston, and it's looking like there's a good chance that can happen, which means Michael Carter-Williams was given away for free. I mean, we'll see in a few months though. Either way, the future's still bright. Number 2, the Los Angeles Lakers. Alright, bear with me here, but that pick that was traded to Philly for MCW was originally the Lakers pick that they traded to the Phoenix Suns for Steve Nash, and then the Suns gave it to Philly. We all know how the Nash thing worked out, so if you're a Lakers fan, I'm sure you're gritting your teeth at the fact that that pick's going to be a top 5 or 6 pick in the stacked draft coming up. But then you look back at the current roster, and I'm sure you're okay. The Lakers have done a great job of signing young players so far, but I'm a little worried about where they're going. Since 2014, they've signed D'Angelo Russell, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Julius Randle, and Jordan Clarkson. Those are all great, really young players with a huge upside, but they've already traded away D'Angelo, and rumor is they're looking for trades for Clarkson, Randle, and Larry Nance Jr., so that they can have a chance at signing LeBron, PG-13, or DeMarcus Cousins in the offseason. LA's got a great young team to build around, and I think trading off players now is a little too soon. I mean, unless they're certain that players are going to come to Los Angeles, I don't think they want to lose out. That's the one way that their future can get ruined, if they trade away stars and no free agents sign in the offseason. But what would give them the brightest future is if they grow as a young team, Ingram becomes an NBA's next dominant player like everyone's predicting, Lonzo steps up, and Kuzma continues surprising people while the others develop into solid role players. Or the other thing that would help their future is they give up some young players and sign one or two of those free agents in the offseason, and then make a run at a championship in the next couple of years. So even though they're still not playing the best right now, the future is still extremely bright in LA. Number 1. The team with the brightest future in the NBA is amazingly one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the entire league, the Boston Celtics. Between Curry and Kyrie, I say that they're as close as you can get to being tied for best point guard in the league, but Kyrie's only 25. Not to mention Jalen and Jason have been surprises with how good they are so soon at only 19 and 21. And the fact that they're almost tied for best record in the league without Gordon Hayward, who's in his prime. They clearly have the greatest GM in the league. If it wasn't confusing enough already with that pick that I mentioned earlier that Philly owns, it's gonna get a little more confusing. So if that pick turns out to be either 1 or pick 6 through 30, then that pick goes to Philly. But if it turns out to be either 2 through 5, which it has a high chance of doing because it's based on the Lakers record, who's the 6th worst in the NBA right now, then that pick goes to Boston. So on top of everything else right now, they have a chance to add another top 5 NBA draft pick, along with their own first rounder this year. And next year in 2019, they have Memphis's and LA's first rounders to go along with their own. So if this team is as good as they are already, just imagine 3 to 4 years from now when their players get closer to their primes. And with those picks, Boston has the option to draft 4 or 5 more young players or trade them all away for another good piece to the team. I truly believe that within the next 4 years, Boston will have at least one NBA championship led by Kyrie Irving. So, that draft pick situation was a little confusing, so if you made it this far, you're a champ. But yeah, I really feel that we'll be seeing at least 3 of these teams in the upper tier playoff level within the next few years. There's always a chance that something could go wrong, but I want to know what you guys think. I want to know if you agree or disagree, and comment your list down below and let me know how you feel about mine. So as always, I thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you next video.